What's up, fantasy managers? This is our Week 9 reactions, where we share the news from the weekend. We talk about our starts of the week. We're even going to discuss some trade targets. The fantasy playoffs is getting pretty close. And we go over smashes and crashes where players either did well or they sucked. I know that interests you, so stick around for 7 seconds.
What's up, Zoners? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard youth remote, coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is the Fantasy Red Zone. Today's episode, we have our news for you. There is a lot of breaking news. It was a bloodbath this weekend, Jason. People were ripping and popping shit all over the place. I'm serious about that. Huge disappointments this weekend. So stick around for our smashes and our crashes, man. If you want to see why your stud just crashed, you know, like my Travis Kelce, my Kenneth Walker, shit like that, dude. Stick around. We also have trade targets, Jason. So players that we think are good, you know, buy lows, sell highs. And we also are going to go over our starts of the week. That's just going to take a minute because we both super smashed them. And hey, before we get into all that, Jason, please tell the public how they can help this show.
Yeah, if you guys made it this far, if you guys could please hit the subscribe, press the like. We like the likes. Let us know if you guys had any smashes or crashes, and you could do that by leaving us a comment. Interact with us. We interact with you. And if if you like the radio talk, we're also the Fantasy Red Zone on Spotify.
You're starting to look like me, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you slept very well. But anyways, all right, Jason, let's get into the news. Daniel Jones, my favorite, fantasy football player of all time, tore his ACL and is now out for the season. Did you see that?
Yep, and now he's going to stay exactly where he's been, on the waivers.
Yeah, and you know what sucks, dude, is that, what's his name, just hit IR. So I think the only game that they have done, or that they have covered, as far as if you're into gambling, the only game that they've covered, I think it's like double digits, they've been like double-digit underdogs, was with Tyrod Taylor, and now Tyrod Taylor is on IR, Jason. So now they've got Danny DeVito's nephew or some shit out there. And it's not good. I would not want to start anybody. You're starting Saquon Barkley, and that's it.
Yeah, for a second I thought I had the telekinesis power because I was just looking at Daniel Jones, and next I know he fell with no contact.
Were you wanting him to fall?
I want every Giants player to thaw.
Well, I don't think the Cowboys are too worried about that, Jason. I'm pretty sure the Giants are projected to get probably the top pick next season. Brian Daboll with Caleb Williams. Sounds pretty damn good. All right, Jason, Ja'Marr Chase dealing with a back injury and is questionable to play. Apparently, he felt it early in the game. It got worse as it went on. We will go more in depth in this later. But, dude, what do you think about that? I did not know about this, Jason, until like 2 hours ago. I had no idea.
Yeah, I was watching the game. I saw they put like those little shockers on his lower back, and it was like those shockers I used to see my friend's mom wear on her stomach. It was like shock for abs. You know, like you get a six-pack by shocking your abs.
Did she look like she was pretty fit, Jason? Did she look like she had a six-pack?
No, I think she was trying to get her money back.
Man, back in the day, it was really hard to get your money back on stuff.
Yes.
These days, just fucking write an email back and Amazon doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
So yeah, Ja'Marr Chase, man, that is scary, dealing with a back injury. And we saw, dude, what's his name was falling apart at the helm, like his finger was all bloody. His calf was all getting massaged on the sidelines. Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase. Keep an eye on that, Jason, because we're going to talk about somebody else, T. Higgins, man. Anyways, Kyler Murray, Jason, to start this week.
All right.
So this is perfect timing because I have Jalen Hurts. I have lost 2 games in a row, man, I was 7-0, dominant team. Now everybody just turned the fucking switch and does not want to score any points. That's okay. I've got Kyler Murray waiting in the shadows, Jason. I'm going to be starting him on his first week in the National Football League this year. Would you start him this week?
Oh, yeah. This is what I've been waiting for. This is only reason why I did that trade to get Marquise Brown was for this very moment.
You're like that one chick, man, that one American Idol. You've been waiting a lifetime for a moment. Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, that was season 1.
Yeah, I know. No, that is season 1. And then I think number 2 was Ruben. Then I never gave a shit about that show. Falcons, Jason, sticking with Taylor Heineke. Speaking of good news for you, Taylor Heineke, bad news with Bijan's usage, but the Falcons, you are a Drake London owner. Without Drake London, dude, targets were a plenty for weird players. But with Drake London back, I think that he is going to be a smash start. He was my fantasy MVP heading into the season. He may win people some leagues in this playoff run.
Yeah, I think I have to start him next week. I think I got a lot of people on by. I would have started him this week, but he was out with the injury. But I'm glad that they have Heineke back there. I'd rather have him than Ritter. And don't get me started on Bijan Robinson.
And did you see Arthur Smith shaved that stupid mustache? I mean, I'd say stupid mustache, but I got a mustache, so he shaved his mustache.
Well, maybe now that's the deciding factor that he's actually going to use Bijan Robinson the way he should.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? He probably woke up and just like, I'm a new man.
Yeah. Bijan!
Or maybe he's like, maybe nobody will recognize me.
Yeah.
I got this press conference.
I wonder if it was
I don't want to talk to anybody.
I wonder if it was a stick-on. He just glued it on. He's like...
All right, Jason. Dan Campbell assures that Gibbs will get his touches even with Monty return. He's saying, don't worry. There will be plenty of touches for Gibbs. He will get his touches. Do you believe that, Jason? If I was a Gibbs owner, I think that I would trade him and not believe any of this shit.
Yeah, I don't believe him. He said this earlier in the year. Like, they want to feed the ball to David Montgomery. He's going to continue to get that ball. He may get an extra 1 or 2 carries, but Montgomery's going to be that guy until I see otherwise. Because, like I said, he said this earlier in the year, and nothing changed until Montgomery injury. So,
and on that team, just like last season, I mean, Jamal Williams 17 rushing touchdowns. The goal line is where you want to own a running back in that offense, and the goal line running back is David Montgomery. I tried to trade for him, but that will not happen. Let's see. Jason, here we go. Cam Akers tore his Achilles. That is the second time he's torn his Achilles. He had the same doctor that Aaron Rodgers had, I heard today, or had for his, but it was a different procedure. One is experimental, but still, man, I thought that sucked. I mean, I'm not a huge Cam Akers fan. He plays for my Vikings. I thought that he might be actually worth the pickup. I was saying that he might explode, over the last part of the season, just like he did last season. Just because the competition's so shitty in Madison. But Jason, man, I thought that was pretty shitty to see. What did you feel about that?
Yeah, it sucks. Cam Akers was a guy that I drafted, and I was very unsure about. Tyler, you always said it best. His ceiling was through the roof, but his floor is off the team, getting kicked off the team. And after the week 1, I was like, dude, I got to trade this guy, and I traded him, and now he became the problem for Alexander Madison owner. You don't have to worry about that anymore, but now, it still sucks that he tore his... I wonder if it's the same Achilles from last time.
I do not know about that. I want to say they said it was. It'd be pretty crazy if it was, the other one compensating for the other one, whatever. But yeah, dude, I don't wish that. I mean, one injury is bad, but the same injury, dude. And like running backs, he's never going to get a contract. It just sucks.
Yeah.
So, Jason, next up, the IR boys, James Conner, who I want a piece of, Khalil Herbert, who I might want a piece of, and Devon Achane, who I want a fat piece of, can be activated off of IR this week. I have not heard Eberflus say shit, but I did see that Gannon and McDaniel say that there's nothing that should be barring them coming back immediately. And so, yeah, anyways, I know that's good for you. You are an Achane owner.
I've been waiting for this day for 84 years.
I think he's running back 16 still, and he's played like 3 games.
Yeah, well, we got a little taste of it, and we got spoiled. And then...
Hey, you, send me some of that corn. I just want some taste.
Okay.
You know what that is?
No.
It's Nacho Libre.
Oh, God, man, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Pretty sure you hated that movie, Jason.
No, I liked it.
No, I loved it. I thought that
there was some funny parts in it, but I think I only watched it once to you and Jimmy watching it 20 times.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, Jason, we'll talk about these IR boys in a minute. But yeah, like you said, if you were an Achane owner, hopefully you held on to him. I'm sure you probably did. You've been waiting for this day. And I thought this was kind of sad, Jason. The Packers released James Robinson. I thought, hey, what's going on with Aaron Jones? It seems though, with Aaron Jones being fully back to healthy, they released James Robinson. He was, when you see seasons like, Hinder's season or all this bullshit, seasons incorporated into people's last names, that all spawned from James Robinson's season like 4 years ago. That fool came undrafted free agent, fucking won people leagues. It was the Robin season.
Yeah. One quick thing before we go into that, David Achane. Achane is actually on bye next week, so we still gotta wait a little bit longer for him.
But he can be activated.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's very unfortunate what's happening with James Robinson. Like, that dude was a league winner for some people, and then for some reason he just dropped off. No longer, he just keeps getting cut. I don't know. Maybe he's got a bad attitude. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. He doesn't believe in Barney, the purple dinosaur. I don't know what's going on.
I was just thinking, you said cut, and it reminded me when people used to be like, not like what I said, and they'd look at me and be like, cut it out. Cut. Yeah. I'm so glad I don't fucking see that thing anymore. Jason, Go Dierte to miss time with a fractured forearm. This is going to coincide with one of our trade talks, but still, he missed time I think he went on IR about this time last season. He was producing a little bit over the last month, started living up to his draft ADP. Now you missed out on him. He's almost looking like a kind of the reason that you draft a tight end first or last.
Yeah, do they know how much time he's going to miss? It's a fractured forearm, right?
I think they're contemplating putting him on IR, so around 4 weeks, if I had to guess.
They said something about, I think I did read that he was an IR candidate.
Yeah, that's what I thought I saw too. So
it was like an arm bar takedown that they did on this guy. Arm bar takedown. It was crazy.
I did not see it, but I did watch that game. I don't know how I didn't see it. So, Jason, Rashad. Oh shit, that's something else. Josh Dobbs is the last of the news. He's to start next week. Jaron Hill is concussed. But I do want to say, Josh Dobbs, thank you, man. You came in and gave us a win. We are in the playoff hunt. We are the second best team in the NFC North. So yeah, dude, Josh Dobbs. That was the first time in NFL history that a player scored 3 touchdowns back-to-back weeks for fucking 2 different teams, Jason.
Yeah. I got a question about that. Like, are we going to say that this was more of a like Dobbs great performance or the Falcons defense shitty performance?
Well, I think it's a mixture because I think part of the reason he did so well is because they probably plan on Jaron Hill, and then Dobbs came in and gave him like a running element and everything else. I know Jaron Hill had a couple rushes, but Dobbs is actually good at it. And yeah, I think it was kind of I think Dobbs is good. And I think that, like I said, I think he might be a 20-point per game quarterback with these weapons, especially when Justin Jefferson comes back. Because, I mean, just think about the people he has to throw to compared to what he had in the Cardinals. Plus, dude, the Vikings offensive line is pretty goddamn good. So
it's definitely a better offensive system and players than he had.
Offensive coach compared to defensive coach. Like, I think that Dobbs is definitely worth owning now. Whereas before I was like, whatever about him. But I think he's had 3 20-point games on the season, and now he gets to go to the Vikings.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mixture of the two, though. All right, Jason, you ready for some trade talk?
Yeah, we're going into trade talk.
So, Jason, first up, I want to talk about the IR players because those are always players that I try to target. Maybe the owner is, just like owners that need to win that week and stuff like that. I also target players on buys if that owner really needs to win. Jason, out of the 3 players we just talked about being activated on IR, which one do you like the most? So Connor has the 22nd best running back schedule for playoffs. Herbert has the 19th best. Well, that's kind of a wash, but fucking Achane, who I think would be the easy answer here, has the worst playoff schedule for running backs this season.
Man, I know it's tough, but I feel like we still gotta try to go with Achan, right?
I
Is
would.
there a chance that this guy's gonna that he is so good that it does not matter what type of defense that he's going to play against?
Yeah, I mean, he just needs
I'm
one. He literally just needs one play, dude. I mean, he's the fastest
right.
guy, and I think they're going against the Jets. You could run on the Jets. I need to look at the schedule in more depth. We're gonna have that in our trade special. But still, all I know is that he has a shitty schedule. But I think that I would like James Conner, then Khalil Herbert, or no, I'd like Achan, then Conner, then Khalil Herbert, just because I do think that Deontay Foreman is probably going to be the goal line back there in or whatever for that. Do you have any trades for Devon Achan, Jason? Probably not.
I'm looking them up right now. We had one that just happened today. Oh, damn. This was Davion for Stephon Diggs.
Wait, what'd you say? Devon for Diggs?
Yeah.
That's a real trade in a real league?
That happened today on Monday Night Raw.
Because I wouldn't do that shit.
No. I don't think I would do that either.
I think Diggs is a locked top 3 wide receiver, man. I mean, even on the bad games.
Okay. So let's do another one. What about for Joe Mixon?
Yeah. Oh my god, that's a tough one, dude. I like that. And then so like what you do, like if you're doing trades at this time of the year, you better be looking at your, just Google it, best playoff schedule for running back schedules, shit like that. You'll find it if you dig deep enough. And dude, Cincinnati has the 29th best, so they have a shitty schedule too. I would definitely get Achan on my team for Joe Mixon, Jason.
Okay, let me do.
Which is crazy because that's like, I mean, Joe Mixon's probably like what, around still like a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick if in a redraft league right now.
Yeah. Okay, I want to do 2 more. The first one didn't count with Diggs. That one didn't count. All right, Achan for Isaiah Pacheco and Kenneth Walker.
God damn, are you fucking serious?
That happened today.
I would take Pacheco and Kenneth Walker.
I mean,
but
once
I
you go
understand, like Kenneth Walker, we'll talk about him later in more depth, but he has a shitty playoff schedule and he's getting phased out. So I get that. But Pacheco, dude, I mean, I think people are panicking with Pacheco. There's so much risk with Achan still, Jason. I mean, there's so much risk. Who knows if they're going to use him the same way that he did because they don't want to injure him. They want to make the playoffs and make a playoff run.
Kansas City has the 6th best running back schedule.
I would take the 2 players of Walker and Pacheco. I would take Walker and try to trade him for a wide receiver or something and just take Pacheco and a wide receiver.
Okay, one more. And let's do Achan Stroud for Jonathan Taylor.
Achan and Stroud for Jonathan Taylor?
Yep.
Yeah, fuck that. Give me Achan and Stroud, dude. That's probably that's probably before Stroud killed it. But
maybe it was done. No, it was done today.
I saw that Taylor had like 75% of the snaps or use running backs share or something. That's
he
the
did
highest
score, I believe,
all year. Wow, I just fucked up my shoulder. All right, Jason. So that was Achan. I do want to talk about this next guy. All right, next person I want to talk about, Jason, Devontae Smith. I am going to be trying to trade for Devontae Smith this week. Let's see. Even though the guy that fucking has him does not trade, but still, last year when Godierte went down, Jason, is when Devontae Smith went fucking nuclear. That's why everybody drafted him so high. There's a direct correlation between Joe Dierte, Dallas Dierte going down and him producing. And Philadelphia has the 6th easiest playoff schedule for wide receivers. What do you think about Devontae? And then if you want to give me some trades.
Well, if we're just going to go off of the trend, which is, I think, a smart thing to do, now we're going to see Devonta Smith play as what? The value of the round 2, round 3 that you picked him up in?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's ever going to be worth that second round draft pick. But yeah, maybe
Not
that third
anymore.
round draft pick that you hopefully waited for. I bet you next year, Jason, nobody's going to get like this. You're not going to see any T. Higgins, and you're not going to. The second wide receivers on their teams, like Waddle and all this, are not going to get drafted that high because this year has been god awful for him.
Yeah, you're not going to see that.
Only person's Puka right now that you want.
Right.
But yeah, dude. So, all right, hit me with some trades if you have them.
Okay. Let me see. What we got? You know what? Let's keep it in Philly. Devonta Smith for DeAndre Swift.
Swift.
Yep.
So it's like I think So Swift has an amazing. I mean, they're both like 5 and 6 as far as easy schedule or whatever. So I was actually trying to trade for Swift, but man, that running game has not been much. Like if you look at Swift's stats, like yeah, he gets all this elite usage, but it has not been good. It's almost back to like what it was with like Miles Sanders there or some shit like that. That is it kind of does scare me. And we were talking about Devontae Smith first. I think I would rather, which is crazy because I would have told you to trade for Swift all day. But I think right now with Godierte being out, I think that I would favor Devontae in that trade.
And we saw Gainwell was the one that scored the touchdown, I believe.
I saw that right off the bat, and I was like, "Oh, fuck." Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia, dude, the 4th easiest schedule for running backs in the playoffs. Ah, it's tough to do, dude.
And we got a Rashad Penny sighting yesterday.
I think that is a very fair trade. Let me just put it that way.
Okay. All right.
And you know what? I would trade for Swift because the running backs are so fucked up this year, dude. Yeah, I would definitely trade for Swift. Okay. I got to put a priority on position priority. Wait more towards running backs.
This one's going to hit more to home, Tyler. What about Devonta Smith for Davante Adams?
Oh yeah, boy! I was waiting. Yeah, like that's great. So yeah, Davante Adams is getting fucking targeted and whatever. But this team's going to be run the hell out of the ball and run it some more. I know Davante Adams he's still like top of the league in red zone targets. I can't remember what he got yesterday. But right now, dude, I'd fucking trade him because I'm pissed, Jason. I'm fucking pissed. But I think that would probably have to be. I think it's a fair trade. But right now, I would try to trade away Adams because I don't know when it's going to get better. I thought it was going to get better this week. I was like, watch this, dude. 30-point game for Adams. It's like lined up that way. It did not happen, and now I don't know when it's going to happen. So yeah, I like Devontae Smith better right now.
Well, I know the script didn't really line up for the wide receivers on the Raiders. It was more.
I know, man. I know, but I'm so pissed off.
Right? No, I get it. I'm a Jacoby Myers owner, and I'm just like, holy crap, dude! What do I do with this guy?
Well, I'm just thinking like I would take Jalen Hurts. Like Aiden O'Connell maybe, but I don't fucking know anything about Aiden O'Connell. Like I would just take the given of Devontae Smith and just like write off my goddamn losses with Davante Adams.
All right, last one, okay? Ooh, this is an interesting one. Devonta Smith, Kareem Hunt for Tony Pollard.
Oh, fuck Tony Pollard, dude. I'm not touching Tony Pollard. I was trying to trade for Tony Pollard because I was like, oh, this has got to come around. It's not going to come around. And now everybody's like, do you remember what I kept on saying? I was so low on Tony Pollard. I think he's on our bus. I'm pretty sure he was on my bus show.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy fucking broke his leg at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, until we see it happen, like, let's not fucking anoint this guy a top 5 running back. And I was getting upset about it. And then it's like, dude, now I swear to God, when I'm driving around listening to sports radio, he's not a number 1 back. It's like, motherfuckers, you guys remember? Like, let's talk about his broken leg, dude. He fucking broke his leg. Talk about it. And so I think that he's being treated unfairly. Like, they should have got another running back in there anyways. But yeah, I'm not touching Tony Pollard, Jason.
Okay.
All right. Rachaad White is next up. Jason, he has the 26th best schedule for running backs, but he is the hot news on Reddit. He's like, dude, people are talking about Rachaad White. Nobody's talking about Rachaad White this. Nobody's talking about Rachaad White that. So what I was thinking, I was like, hey, maybe he is doing pretty good. Maybe people still have a bad stigma about him and this team. Maybe you should go trade for him I think that you should, just to get you to the playoffs. His usage is great. His schedule is lightening up, but he has the 26th best schedule for running back. So even though it is lightening up in the playoffs, it tightens up a bit. He has 12 plus fantasy points, Jason, in each of his last 3 games. But like I said, like from here on to the fantasy playoffs, he's got a pretty easy schedule.
Yeah. So this weekend, gosh, take it, dude. I have James Cook and Rashad White in my 10-man league, and I always feel like I switch them back and forth. But lately, I'm like, dude, I gotta keep Rashad White in. I gotta keep him in. And I was watching that Houston game, and I was like, here we go again. He's getting the receptions from Baker Mayfield. He's got did he score like 2 goal line touchdowns? It's like boom, money. I go look at my 10-man league, and I have freaking James Cook in, and I didn't switch him out.
Dude, that league, I swear to God. Like, I didn't realize I didn't have a defense playing this year. I swear, I remember putting him in. It's like,
yeah, I think you and I talked about it because you're like, they opened up another spot.
Dude, that fucking Yahoo! I swear, I don't know if it doesn't save my moves or what, but it's fucked me like 3 times this year.
Yeah, it's very.
Apparently I need to check it more than once, Jason, because I just check it once and then I forget about it. Like, I need to check it and then check it and then check it.
It's very frustrating. It's very frustratingly challenging. The way the commissioner has it set up. But we did a player pause for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football, and I remember digging into Rashad White, and I think at that time he only had like 1 goal line carry. And then this week happened, and he had like 4 of them, and he scored on 2 of them. So it looks like he's finally starting to come around, and maybe it's time to start aiming for this guy.
Yeah, so Rashad White, I think, is a good trade for. Jason, you have some trades.
Yeah, just let me go down. Okay.
Real trades.
Trade
bait.
Maybe I don't.
It's
because
okay.
I put this in here, and for some reason, it is showing up as Ramondre Stevenson.
Would you trade Rashad White for Ramondre Stevenson? No.
Well, I do know Ramondre Stevenson just had.
I was just saying, I know he did great.
Yeah, he just had like a 70-yard touchdown last game.
Oh, well, shit.
Oh, wait, here we go. All right. Straight up. Rashad White for Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Fuck. I'd take Joe Burrow. I would take Joe Burrow, man, because the way he's looked, even though he only threw 2 touchdowns, and now Jamar Chase might be fucked up.
You know, it's funny because
you know what? I would take Rashad White, Jason, because there's been, I think this year has been kind of is a market correction on quarterbacks. I mean, I got lucky with Jalen Hurts, but there's been a lot of quarterbacks like Sam Howell, dude, and other people that have been scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, you know, like Sam Howell's like second in the league in passing yards.
He was like first in the last 5 games and second in touchdowns in the last 5 games.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know. So I would take Rashad White because running backs are kind of just a shit show right now.
Okay, what about Rashad White for Calvin Ridley?
No, you want Rashad White because I do like Calvin Ridley and I do think that he has a chance to be a top 10 wide receiver going forward. But dude, Zay Jones, even though I just saw he's not close to coming back, he's still coming back. I wouldn't want to fuck with that.
Okay, what about oh wow, what about Rashad White for Brian Robinson and Devonta Smith?
I would do that.
I think I would do that too. Yeah.
I mean, Brian Robinson and Rashad White, like, what's the goddamn difference almost?
They're the same player.
And then and then you get Devonta Smith too.
Yeah.
So don't overpay for that. Yeah, I mean,
let me do one more.
Stevenson over the last 3 games, I mean, 4 games, 14.5 points, 11 points, 5 points, but then he had 23 points. So he's been doing better. But I wouldn't want to fuck with that though, Jason. New England. Dude, New England has the 3rd easiest running back schedule for playoffs, too.
All right, last one here. Rashad White for Jacoby Myers.
I would take Rashad White now that Aiden O'Connell's in there. But if you would have told me with a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo, I'd be like, Jacoby Myers, please.
Okay, I'm sending the trade right now. Send. I would definitely take that.
Good luck with that one, Jason. All right, I think we have one more. Okay, yeah, this is the last one. So Puka Nakua, Jason, has had 2 down games. Matthew Stafford has been injured-ish. They have the 5th best schedule during playoffs. I think that he is a good trade for target because, man, dude, when he is in, he's fucking awesome. Even with Cooper Kupp back, I see the best schedules, and I see that he is down right now because I am a Puka owner. I didn't start him. I was like, dude, people are crazy for starting him without Matthew Stafford. Like, when you watch those games, the magic is between him and Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
So without Matthew Stafford, there is no Puka. But I do believe that Stafford will be back. I think that you should trade for Puka. Jason, what do you think?
Yeah. Did you start him this week?
Hell no.
Yeah. That's a good call. It's the magic's going to be there with Stafford, not with this Georgia Bulldog. Wait, aren't they? Stafford's a Bulldog too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, the good kind. I don't know. That was dumb to say. Anyway, yeah. So right now, because of how bad he's looking without Matthew Stafford is going to come back. This could be a good opportunity to get either Cooper Kupp too. He had a bad game, or Puka Nakua.
Correct. Yeah, and it's just I think Puka's the better trade for it because people are so attached to Kupp's name.
Yeah,
and I did. Jason, Parker was fighting with me on that live show, being like, "No, dude, Puka. You should start Puka over Demario Douglas." I was like, "Dude, I would start Demario Douglas over Puka. Demario Douglas got more points."
Really? He was arguing with it? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
It's okay though. I like it.
Interesting.
I like
Keeps you
it.
on your toes.
All right, Jason, do you have any trades? And then we'll be done with the trade talk.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's do a little. Man, a lot of people are packaging Puka Nakua. All right. Puka Nakua for Mike Evans.
So I would rather. That's so funny. That's like the only other situation where like 2 wide receivers are actually doing pretty good. I would rather have Puka Nakua though.
The thing is too that Mike Evans was like 6 inches away from getting like a 60-yard touchdown or however long it was.
And that can happen every week. But
yeah,
it's like a 50-50 to me, really. So I'm thinking quarterback, offensive coordinator, all checks towards Puka, and then Jason. Tampa Bay has the 26th best playoff schedule for wide receivers. Not good.
Yeah. I think what we saw this past weekend, too. Puka Nakua for Isaiah Pacheco.
I would probably take Pacheco, even though, man, when Pacheco's supposed to do well, he does not. Pacheco's just like, his ceiling fucking sucks. You know what? This would depend because I think this is no. I'm taking Pacheco. Pacheco's a running back 1, and Puka Nakua, when healthy, is like a fucking high end wide receiver 2.
And then what we just went over this that the Kansas City Chiefs have like the 6th best running back schedule in the playoffs.
So, and they both have amazing playoff schedules. But like I said, I would. Whatever I just said. What did I say?
You're going to keep Pacheco. I would stay with Puka.
There you go.
Oh, shoot. Wrong one. Where are we at?
Yeah, I was thinking, because I'm just thinking about position scarcity, and I'm thinking that Pacheco is easily a top 12 running back. That is a running back 1. Whereas Puka Nakua, now with Cooper Kupp back, I think is like, wide receiver, is a top 15 wide receiver every week. That is a high-end wide receiver 2. So that's what I was thinking there.
And then Puka Nakua, James Cook for Jamar Chase and CJ Stroud.
Puka Nakua for Jamar Chase and CJ Stroud?
Puka Nakua, James Cook for Jamar Chase and CJ Stroud.
Oh, yeah, I would get Jamar Chase and CJ Stroud. Especially with Uncle Lenny coming to steal all the touchdown. And you see James Cook could get scripted out of a game plan so easily, so... it's coming about. It's almost that time of the year again for the fucking Bills to never run the ball, like they always never do.
I don't think they ran the ball till like the second quarter
Dude,
yesterday.
it'd be so frustrating being a James Cook. He was my fantasy MVP last year. Of course, I should have remembered they don't fucking run the ball.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, good job. On to just real fast our starts of the week. Dude, Jason, you had CJ Stroud, and we don't have to talk about this in depth, but I do want to say that you super smashed. I think that's 2 weeks in a row for you, or 3.
Yeah. Let me go over this real quick. And where we go. So his 147.8 passer rating is the highest single game passer rating by a rookie quarterback in NFL history, minimum 30 attempts. His 470 passing yards are the most passing yards by a rookie in a game in NFL history. He has become the youngest player ever with at least 450 passing yards in a game, and became just the 6th player in NFL history to record at least 450 passing yards and 5 touchdown passes with no interceptions in a game.
Yeah, Jason. I mean, I remember when you said CJ Stroud, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like Tampa Bay's defense is still good, like better than what people think. Like I was kind of nervous,
Smoke
but I
and
was like, hey,
mirrors.
Jason knows what he's talking about, you know. So whatever gave him the confidence, you should listen to him. You know, I was being the nice co-host. And dude, I was so happy to see that he fucking killed it, dude. I mean, I was watching that game. He really didn't even need those last 2 touchdowns, but they just kept on coming back, and they needed to do it. So,
Yeah, he had like 4 touchdowns and 300 yards in the second half.
yeah, so that was great. I think he had like 42 fantasy points or some crazy shit like that.
Well,
So
we're going to go over it here in a minute.
Yep. So Jason super smashed, killed it. Jason, I told people to that I forget who they were playing, but they were giving up the most points, or the second most points in the perimeter, or no, the most fantasy points on the perimeter, and the second most points overall over the last 4 weeks to wide receivers. And hey, guess what? Amari Cooper, thank God, because that was what's his name? Fucking threw a wrench in it for me. You know, who's that massage boy? Fucking what's his name? Yeah, Watson.
Massage boy.
I was like, dude, don't come back and fuck this up for me, because I liked PJ Walker, whatever his name's, throwing to Amari Cooper. Hey, but Watson did good. Amari Cooper had like 5 receptions for 139 yards and a touchdown. So, super smash. Jason, you were like super smash. I think that was the first time that we both just had like amazing, you know, people for our starts of the week. Both smash starts of the week.
That was the first time I went with the quarterback too on start of the week. Did you see Amari's touchdown?
Wasn't it super long, right?
No. It was like got ricocheted like 3 times, and then it like went off a defender's head and it popped up like a rainbow, and just phew, and he was able to catch it in the end zone.
So thank God that happened, because otherwise I'd been like, "Fuck, guys!"
I saw it because I was watching the game and I saw that he was throwing it in that angle, and it popped up, and I was like, "Oh no!" But then he caught it, and I was like, "Oh yes!"
Oh yes! All right, Jason. Continuing on with our smashes, might as well talk about him right now. You just brought him up. CJ Stroud, what, like 42 fantasy points?
Yep. Okay, so CJ Stroud, ESPN projected 16 points, and he finished with 47. He was 30 for 42, 470 passing yards. That is a rookie single game record for passing yards, 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He also had 10 yards rushing on a weird option play that I don't think it was actually planned to do. His completion percentage was amazing at 71%, which is 12% above completion percentage expectation. Lamar Jackson was the only quarterback to have a higher completion percentage above expectations, but Lamar had 16 less pass attempts than Stroud. Stroud led all week 9 with an average completion air yards of 9, and led an average for attended air yards with 11.3. So his passes weren't like deacon dunks. This guy was like shredding the defense. And now for the season, Stroud is touchdown to interception is 14 and freaking 1, dude. He's 14 and 1.
Yeah, they were saying like Bryce Young is throwing more interceptions today than fucking CJ Stroud has in his entire NFL career or whatever it was. It's like,
Yeah.
well, shit. But Jason, you were talking about how he's not dinking and dunking. Well, on throws 20 plus air yards, he was 6 for 8, 199 yards, 3 touchdowns. Plus 21.5 completion percentage over expected. That's first in the NFL. But yeah, dude. So this guy does not need to run the ball like we thought he would. You were like, oh, remember when he's coming out? He's like, oh, did you see that last game versus Georgia? He fucking ran it. He's like the next, whatever. He just has to stay back there and throw the ball.
Yeah, and you know what, Singletary, I don't think he did well on the ground. Let me
Dude, no, he didn't, because I have him he's on my waiver wire thing. It's like
13 for
carries
26.
for like 28 yards or some shit.
Yeah, he averaged 2 yards a carry on 13 rushes. So they couldn't get it done on the ground, so they just relied on his arm, and he took a part of that Tampa Bay's defense.
Yeah, and I do think, just like going back to when Tom Brady was there, the Tampa Bay's strength of their defense is the front seven. So, Jason, if you have CJ Stroud, and so they had, I think he had games of like 13 fantasy points. He had not had a big game for a while, but then you see this, dude. Are you starting CJ Stroud, moving forward, or is he just still riding your bench behind your normal quarterback?
I'm starting him in home games.
I think I was going to say, I think I might have heard something like that. Like his home games are pretty ridiculous. I do think when he went to Jacksonville, he killed it. I can't remember though.
I think he did. His 2 biggest games of the year have come at home.
That's what I was going to look at.
I think he did kill.
I was going to tell you his playoff schedule, but I closed it, Jason, so it doesn't really matter.
Give me,
but
or like how well it is.
Oh yeah. Okay, so next up, Jason. Anything else to say about Stroud?
He has a 31st.
Yeah, he has the 31st worst.
Yeah, for playoffs.
Do not go try to trade for CJ Stroud. If it's part of a package deal, whatever. But if you're trying to win your league and shit, don't go out and try to trade for him, because he is still going to be erratic. He is still a rookie, but now we just know that his ceiling is pretty goddamn good, and even his his floor is like 13 points.
Yeah,
but he's not gonna just go negative points because he doesn't turn it over. So that's great.
Right? He doesn't. He's not careless.
And Jason, here we go. I've been talking about this dude fucking for 3 months, 2 months. I don't even know how long. And I saw him on the screen, and I was like, "Who is that guy, Jason?" And he popped up, and it said Mitchell on the back, and I was like, "What the?
It's
fuck?
Mitchell." Yeah, you're gonna be the main stat on this because I don't really have a lot on him.
Did you get to see that?
We had to do a smash on this guy, Tyler, because
did you watch the game at all? Did you get to see it?
I saw his highlights. Like his runs were pretty ridiculous. He looked good, but we had to throw him on here for the smash because Tyler, he was projected 0 points from ESPN, and he
he had 1 touches in the 2 games back since being activated off IR. Then he got injured, and then he came back. After 1 game being injured, and then looked like this. There is a giant fucking spider. Oh man, okay. Mitchell though, Jason, 9 rushes for 138 yards.
Go kill it. I'll do this part.
Okay, do that.
He rushed the ball 9 times for 138 yards with 1 touchdown. He averaged 15.3 yards per carry. He did have 1 reception on 1 target. I do believe Tyler mentioned in his waiver wire that show that he ran 20 miles per hour.
21 miles an hour, the fastest of any Raven ball carrier this season. That includes Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. And he was 3rd in rushing attempts behind Lamar Jackson and Justice Hill, which that's just confusing as hell to me. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really have on him. His highlights looked really great. And it was crazy because his touchdown run, he looked like he was going straight into a defender, but he just mosey right past him and just continued running. I was like, how did that even happen?
It's so Devon Achane, it reminded me of a Devon Achane stats.
Dude,
rushing yards over expected, fucking 100 and whatever. It's yeah, because you look at this, he's expected to get 4 yards. but then he's just like that much faster than everybody else, and he just comes out the other end and just continues on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Jason, he played on 21% of snaps. They talked about Harbaugh talked about how they're gonna ride the hot hand, the fucking prototypical coach response. We're gonna ride the hot hand, god damn it. Well, right now the hot hand is him, but Gus Edwards is not going away anytime soon. I said that. I believe that Keaton Mitchell is probably going to get 0 touchdowns in the red zone this year, but that's not where his value lies. It is on these long, streaky touchdowns, Jason. I mean, this is going to be like maybe one every other game type of situation if he gets the touches. And what I can tell you right now is I think that he just usurped Justice Hill. So I think that pretty soon Justice Hill will not be getting the snap counts. It will be Keaton Mitchell. And the thing about Keaton Mitchell, Jason, is his pass protection sucks. And I was watching it yesterday, and man, that fool gets fucked up when he tries to stay in there and pass block. So that is going to be his Achilles heel. Speaking of Achilles, that's going to be the one thing that's keeping him off the field. Gus Edwards is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is that why did Gus Edwards only rush the ball 5 times?
That was just a weird game, dude. Like,
dude, I know.
They were up the entire time. I don't know why they just didn't bleed the goddamn clock. I mean, I watched it, and you're right. Like, I was like, I just remember watching. I was like, every time they got in the red zone, fucking Gus Edwards marched out there. So I was like, I mean, that's what you expect.
Yeah, and Gus Edwards did good with the touches that he had. He averaged 10 yards a carry. He was 5 rushes for 52 yards, but for some reason they kept giving it to Justice Hill, and Lamar Jackson was running. I don't know. The backfield, that kind of scares me. It's good to see Mitchell do this because it's like, dude, Tyler's been talking about this guy. We already know that he could play like this, but I'm more concerned of like the backfield and like his carries. Like how many opportunities is he going to get?
Well, I mean, Justice Hill had 13 carries, which is weird.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you said, but like I said, dude, I think it was like everything like in between the 20s was either Hill or Keaton Mitchell. Then right when they went to the red zone, it was all Gus Edwards. So that was a vibe I was picking up. But Keaton Mitchell, man, if he starts eating into those 13, because, I mean, they did run the ball 41 times relative to 33.
Yeah.
Passing it. Just watching the game, it did not seem like they were just grinding out runs left and right. I don't know why. And then, Jason, Odell Beckham caught a touchdown that game. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, from the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy.
People
all right, man. Next up, Jason. I don't know. This guy's on our waiver wire right now, I'm pretty sure. Tank Dell. Because he got dropped like way late, and you couldn't even pick him up on your team.
I know. I have a bid for him, which I don't understand why it didn't go through before Sunday, but whatever. Kind of pisses me off. So he was projected 7 points, but he finished with 27. He had 6 receptions, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns on 11 targets. He was tied for first in targets. Even with a catch rate of 54%, that's not really good. He still made the most out of his 6 receptions. Average separation was 2.9, which is good. I like to see that. And he even had an average of 7 yard of cushion. And he still beat the defender on a 30-yard touchdown. So, it didn't even matter how much of cushion that this guy had. His second touchdown was to win the game, which tells me Stroud has a lot of trust in this dude. I can't remember when Robert Woods got hurt, but the last 2 games, Dell has played 78% and 85% of the snaps. What I don't like about Dell is that he's very high and very low. He has very high and very low scoring outputs. There is no middle ground for this player.
Yeah, and it kind of coincides, whenever CJ Stroud goes off, Jason. So it's just, you got to choose those games wisely. And he's only played pretty much 4 full games this year, 18% target share in the 4 full games played. I think this was his 5th, actually. So 18% target share is not great. Well, he had a 29% target share this weekend, and he has now scored fewer than 9. Oh, yeah, dude. He scored 9 or fewer points per game or in PPR in the 4 games before this. So, what the fuck? He's now scored fewer than 9 points per game in 4 games
Yeah,
this year. Oh yeah.
that's what
So
I'm talking
like you
about.
said, yeah, like his
Yeah.
fucking floor is below 10 points in a full PPR.
He has.
So yeah, I think it sucks, but that's why he is an amazing flex play, Jason.
This is what I'm really seeing with him. I understand why the person dropped him is because what you just said. Also, that could be related to CJ Stroud not playing well the past 3 games.
Yeah.
But Robert Woods isn't there right now. They need another guy. Maybe he could take some of those catches from him.
Oh man, yeah, there was a couple people that was it was Robert Woods and something else. But yeah, dude. Oh, Noah. Oh, that was Noah. That was for the Noah Brown because Noah Brown is an actual slot receiver. So that's what I was like, okay. But yeah, dude. Like, I think he does have. Let's see. Here and more than 20 points, nothing in between. Cincinnati, Jacksonville, New York Jets, and Cleveland left on the schedule, which is terrible. And let me see. Houston wide receivers have the 18th best, so they have an average playoff match. But up into the playoffs, it's a fucking gauntlet of bad matchups. So, Jason, if you were, would you be trying to trade for Tank Dell right now? I would. I think I would.
I would try to trade for him, and that's why I'm trying to pick him up right now off of the waivers. I put all my money into it. Hopefully, I get it. But I would use the fact that he has a very low floor, and he has not performed in about 4 or 5 games. Mashaw's the trade, a wise man once said.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, it's going to be really hard to get him right now. But if you could just get, like, a rookie with this, because, man, like I said, CJ Stroud is special. If you can get just that stack every once in a while, I would just like that based on potential, I guess. But still. All right, Jason. Next up, Cade Otton. I think he's like 24 years old, dude. So this Cade Otton is still super fucking young. He only has had 2 red zone targets coming into this game for the year, Jason.
I know. Just doing the player pause for the Buccaneers, 2 weeks ago. I was like, yeah, pause on this guy because he hasn't done much this year. He was projected 4 points, though, and he finished with 20. 6 receptions, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns on 9 targets. Led the team in targets. Took till week 9, but Otton finally scored over 10 points with his first multiple touchdown game of the season. Evans and Godwin were non-factors. Texans had a good game plan. And Otton basically, he benefited from that. He recorded season highs and hit all his categories, but now the question is, like, can you trust Cade Otton?
Cade Otton.
Otton.
Yeah, I mean, looking at his scores, dude, I would never fucking pick the guy up. 2 red zone targets coming in this game, got 2 touchdowns this game. So yeah, 2 touchdowns right there. That probably should never have happened. Houston was allowing the 3rd most fantasy points to tight ends this year, so it was an amazing matchup. It was a fucking shootout. I think the one positive is that he's 24 years old, but I would not be messing with Cade Otton. I did not put him on my waiver wire show. I would not be trying to trade for him if somebody picked him up. So yeah, I think that this is kind of just a flash in the pan, Jason. Cade Otton, just circumstances were right for him this week.
Flash in the pan. If there's grease in it, throw it outside.
I think that's not how it works. I'm pretty sure you want to pour as much water as you can on that grease.
I usually just put it over a bush or a weed.
No, I'm talking about a grease fire. And if you did that, Jason, if you shot water on a grease fire, you'd fucking launch. It'd be like your backyard when you try to get that
barbecue for the first time with some gasoline. I almost
Jason was not happy with the barbecue, how long it was taking to light. So what did he do? He poured gasoline on the motherfucker. The flame followed the liquid up to the gasoline can. Jason started flinging the shit. It's like flinging flames all over his back fence.
It was like a blowtorch.
You know what happened? You know how much his parents are fucking aware of what goes on? They never even knew. His fucking fences burned down. They never even fucking knew.
My dad came out and was like, "Are the burgers ready?" I'm just like, "Oh, not yet. They still got to cook a little bit more."
Dude. I was like, dude, my parents would have killed me, and your parents never even fucking knew.
I didn't know.
All right, Jason, let's get into the crashes. First up, the comeback player of the year last year, I don't remember.
I
Geno
think so.
Smith, and it sucks for him, but he's starting to come back down to earth. Jason, last year, I think around like when the playoffs started, he started to come back to earth. Not so good. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think now we're starting to see the New York Jets of Geno Smith. So ESPN projected him at 13 points. He finished with 2. 13 for 28, 157 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times. His aggressiveness percentage was third highest in week 9 at 21%. This means 21% of the time Smith threw the ball into tight coverage where the defender was 1 yard or less of the receiver at the time of the completion or incompletion, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because of that, this led to a 49 completion percentage, which was -9 above expectation. Smith has 8 turnovers in the last 4 games. He only has 1 game over 17 points this season. And I think you said it, Tyler. Like, I think starting last year, people were starting to figure out Geno Smith. I think people are like, this is why it took so long for this guy to even do something in the NFL. And now he's trying to really revert to that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I may have had him like ranked. I can't remember who I had ranked, but he was right there with Josh. Oh my God, what the Jared Goff in my preseason rankings, and now look how much he's fallen off of even Jared Goff, man.
Yeah.
He only has 1 top 12 finish on the season, which means he has been a quarterback one only 1 week this season.
And I'm sure that was week 2.
Yeah, exactly, dude. So, for the last 8 weeks or 7 weeks, he has not even been worthy of a starting quarterback on a 12-man league. That is crazy to me. And DK Metcalf is getting all the targets. He has yet to break out. I mean, you saw Lockett yesterday not getting anything. At the same time, Jason, I do believe, Baltimore is allowing the least amount of points, fantasy points to the quarterbacks. I do believe that game yesterday was a goddamn outlier. That was like the Lions going to Baltimore and just not doing shit. Like, I was watching that game. It was terrible. And it got out of hand fast, man. And I remember watching that Lions game, and it was like, it just happened so fast. It was gone. And it just reminded me a lot of that. Apparently, playing at Baltimore is bad for your health.
Yeah, and the way the Ravens are playing, you're probably going to have to go through Baltimore to get to the Super Bowl.
But Jason, I do want to say that he gets Washington next week. If he was ever going to be a top 12 quarterback again, it's going to be versus Washington next week.
Now is the time.
All right, Jason. Geno Smith. I'm not trying to trade for him. I'm not trying to trade him away. Like I said, he's not even a startable quarterback for you right now, so there's no point in trying to trade or whatever about that.
I think he's on our waivers.
Oh, is he really? That's interesting. Yeah. Kenneth Walker, though, is somebody that I am trying to trade away. I've been trying to trade him away for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I was trying to milk that cow in the beginning of the year, and I think I milked it a little bit too long. Now people won't trade for him. Charbonnet, Jason, outsnapped Kenneth Walker for the 2nd week in a row, 27-22 this weekend.
Yeah, that's kind of something what I have here. Kenneth Walker, he was ESPN projected him at 13 points, and he finished with 9 rushes, 16 yards. He averaged 1.8 yards per carry. He did have a catch for 1 yard on 2 targets. He still led the team in rushing attempts, though. It was a tough game for all the Seahawks players. Baltimore Ravens allowed the 18 points to running backs and giving up only 2 rushing touchdowns in 9 games to, running backs. And the Ravens, they also allow, only 4 yards per carry. My main concern is what you just said, Tyler, is that Walker had 49% of the snaps this week, and last week he had 41% of the snaps. He needs to be on the field more. He can't do anything if he's not on the field.
He needs to have volume and we'll talk about this in a second. Oh, somebody's calling me. Fuck you, dude. During those 2 games that I just talked about where he got outsnapped, Walker has averaged a 65% of the running back rush share. Before those 2 games, he averaged about 80%. So it went down, 15%. And when I watch him, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I remember watching him last year thinking this is the best running back I've ever seen. Now I'm watching him like, this is not the same running back, Jason. He is 14th in explosive run rate and 17th in missed tackles per attempt. I was not able to find the numbers last year, but I remember they were much higher. He was an elite, as far as making people miss and explosive runs. That's where he made his money. So I do not think that he is really the same player right now. And it is scary being a Kenneth Walker owner, man, because he had so much value in the beginning of the year. And now he has like none. And I missed my opportunity to cash out on him.
Do you feel like people really trusted in Kenneth Walker because of those long touchdown runs? I mean, he had a lot. He had quite a few touchdowns from 50 yards. So if he can't keep that up.
I just think, right this season, he's been valued because of his usage. I mean, he was like one of the only bell cow running backs in the first half of the season. And now that's fading away, Jason. And we do not know if it's because he is not healthy, because this is kind of unlike Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll likes just to stick with one fucking dude. Doesn't matter who's behind him. Chris Carson, doesn't matter if he'll draft Rashad Penny in the first round, not give a fuck. Just keeping and giving it to Chris Carson. So I don't know. I think it's a mixture of Kenneth Walker not being totally healthy and him just not being the same running back as he was last year.
So we need to trade him.
Jason, anything else?
We need to trade him.
Yeah, I'm trying to trade him away. So if I was you, I'd try to trade him away. He has a terrible running back schedule as well for the fantasy football playoffs. All right, Jason. Next up, Ja'Marr Chase. He has been doing well. He has been killing it, but there was an injury that I was not aware of that he suffered in the beginning of the game. It has gotten worse, and now he is not sure if he's going to be able to play this week.
Man, and I think the Bills have the Bengals have a crazy matchup this weekend too. I can't remember though right now. All right, so he was projected 18 points, finished with 6, 4 receptions, 41 yards on 8 targets, second in team behind T. Higgins, who had 9. He only had a 50% catch rate. So you had the injury that happened. Bills also played Chase pretty close. He only had like average 4 yards of cushion and average 2.4 yards of separation. I usually like to try to see that like 2.5 and up. He had 35% of the share team targets, which still led the Bengals. But the Bills' focus to stop Chase. T. Higgins had more of a cushion. T. Higgins' cushion was like 7 or 6, and he was able to average 2.7 yards of separation. And this kind of like with the injury involved in the game plan, this kind of just turned into a T. Higgins game. And it's, of course, I went up against T. Higgins this week.
I started him in my 10-man league, but I didn't start a fucking defense, Jason.
Yeah, so. I started Drake London in my 10-man. Well, with everything going on this weekend, I forgot to even look at my 10-man. And I'm like,
well, yeah, you've got good excuses. I thought it was because that goddamn it's so hard to understand when you're looking at it. You're like, I think the players are in, right? I think.
Yeah.
Whatever. But Jason, what was I going to tell you? Who we're going to? I just want to say, I mean, not a lot to say about Ja'Marr Chase. I think this in particular, I do like the cushion that Jason was talking about. So they're playing him tight, but I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I usually really like Ja'Marr Chase, regardless of how they're playing him. But if he is injured, that is not great. So we need to monitor this. That's really the only thing that we can say about this. He ranked 2nd in the league in red zone targets on the year, and he has a 32% target share on the year anyways. For Joe Burrow, that is going to only get better as the year goes on. If I could try to trade for Ja'Marr Chase, I would think about it, but you're playing with fire, Jason, because that injury could turn into something bigger.
Yeah.
I would not be trying to trade away Ja'Marr Chase, because I think that he is one of like 3 wide receivers. That is like him, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill. So it's like maybe 4 or 5 wide receivers when everybody's healthy.
And the thing is, he's my main dude in my 10-man league, and I don't have any thoughts of trading him away.
Right.
2nd overall pick. Like even through everything, it's like, okay, so this is what we see almost like every year since Joe Burrow's got there. Like the beginning, it doesn't matter about the beginning. It's always at the end where everything gets healthy and gelled together. And this is just that one game that it just didn't go his way. We'll have to monitor his injury and see how, like, is he going to miss any games because of it. I hope not. But I'm still keeping him. I'm putting him in there. If he's on the field, he's in my starting lineup.
Wow, dude. He's just if he's got crutches on, just think of that range, man. He can catch anything within a 10-yard radius. Okay, Jason. Speaking of main dudes, Travis Kelce, my main man, my first draft pick. 25% target share this season, number 1 for tight ends. Leads all tight ends in red zone targets. But he only has 10 fantasy points over the last 2 games, Jason. I think he had 2.5 this fucking game.
Yeah. He was projected 15 points and he finished with 2.5. Only three receptions for 14 yards and 4 targets. This is still pretty crazy because the 3 receptions, he was still tied for first on the team with Mecole Hardman and Noah Gray. His targets, he was second on the team. Patrick Mahomes, he threw the ball. He targeted 11 different receivers and only had 20 completions in that game in Germany. It was a weird game. I believe they went under on the over and under. Also, Taylor Swift was not in attendance. So
I've been trying not to say her name. That pop star, Travis Kelce's girl, that pop star.
Okay.
But dude, what you just said, it hits it nail on the head, Jason. When I was like, man, I went to check the receiving stats and there was fucking like 15 people on there. I was like, what the hell? And so that's classic Patrick Mahomes. He used to do that a long time ago. It's just he just throws it to whoever's open. But it got compounded by the opportunity there. Like the game was like they were up by 14 points, maybe 21 points early, and they did not have to throw the ball, so they did not throw the ball, Jason. So it was a spread the ball game for Patrick Mahomes, and then they did not have to score much or do anything or throw the ball, and it just got compounded on Travis Kelce. So Travis Kelce last week was a weird week, but he got the targets. Like I'm fine with just the targets. Like I don't care. Like if he has a bad week, but if he gets 9+ targets, I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
But this week, I think it was like 4 targets, and I was like, I'm not cool with that, dude.
Yeah.
And Noah Gray, his fucking replacement, pretty much outscored him. So that pissed me off as well. But yeah, so like 10 fantasy points over the last 2 games. This is a buy low opportunity for Travis Kelce if there ever was one. Do you remember, Jason, at the end of last year, he had like no touchdowns over the last 8 games, I think?
Yeah. He went
so let's hope this is not some kind of weird streak right now. But I would trade for Travis Kelce if you could.
Yeah, I still think you would probably have to give up a lot.
You'd have to give up fucking Devontae Adams and a bunch of other shit. But
yeah,
that's just the way it goes. Maybe like Devontae Adams, David Montgomery, and Dalton Kincaid.
But
you know what? Kincaid, it's like, man, is killing it. So
I'm even like trying to look at tight ends, adjusted strength of schedule for the playoffs. But I mean, it doesn't even matter, dude. Like you play Travis Kelce whenever. And the thing is too, like Patrick Mahomes, like he knows like this offense isn't humming. He said in a report, he's like, the defense is doing their job, and I promise you we'll eventually get this offense going. So like, the offense is not the same. He's promising that I will get to that point. And then when that does happen, Kelce's going to be the main factor in that.
Yeah, they have the 11th easiest schedule for tight ends. Hawkinson has like the 5th easiest. But all right, Jason, that's it. That is the show. Thank you so much for watching. What else was I going to say? Oh, round of applause. Thank you. We are going to have a trade special coming out soon. We do not know when it's going to be, but it will be soon. Top trade targets, top trade aways, and it will include their strength of fantasy football playoff schedule. That is what you want to look at these days. Jason, want to send us out?
Trades I do adore. Put that adjusted schedule number on this paper, because I would love it. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Weird week. We got some more videos coming out this week. We got the player pause for Thursday. What is it? It's the Panthers against the Bears. So I got the Panthers this week. star-studded Panthers, man. This is going to be.
At least it's a Thursday night game, not a goddamn. I forget they're not flexing out of. I can't remember the game that they're not flexing out of. The Denver Broncos versus somebody. I'm like, fucking.
Oh yeah, out. I saw that. It's like some boring game.
I think it might have been my Vikings.
Oh really?
They're getting Josh Dobbs versus. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, we got those videos coming out. We also got the trade special. Then we got the drinking or Friday. What do we call that? Beer time breakdown. So make sure you guys catch that. We'll talk to you guys later this week in the videos. Until then, deuces.
Hopefully we earned a thumbs up. Hopefully we earned a subscription if you are not already subscribed. If you want to see more of this show more often, it will give us more opportunities for that. Please support this show. We need you. Catch you on the flip side. Boof.